In many ways, it's still very much about silicon, which feeds into both solar and semiconductors. Just looking at solar briefly, we're in the midst of a trend around the world, really, to increasingly domesticate the solar supply chain. In the U.S., for instance, this has been accelerated in a number of ways, probably most prominently by the Inflation Reduction Act. It's pretty common knowledge now that under the IRA, the U.S. is planning to install about 5 times the amount of solar capacity by, say, 2032, compared to all the capacity that's available today. And if we do that successfully, that will outpace the entire coal-fired power generation capacity in the U.S. So this is obviously a welcome development for all of us who have been rooting for mass adoption of clean energy for many years now. But one unintended consequence of this kind of aggressive action at the federal level is the massive pressure it's going to place, and frankly already is placing, on bulk argon supply. The production of silicon ingots that eventually become solar cells, that process is one of the most argon intensive manufacturing processes in the world. There are many greenfield sites planned in the US to produce these ingots domestically. And even with argon recycling baked into these plants, which is an absolute must, it's not an option to avoid argon recycling for these facilities, there's still very much a strong risk of downstream effects, not only within silicon, but across other argon-dependent industries, chief among them perhaps military and civilian aircraft engine parts, which are highly dependent upon argon. And so you're going to see the private market respond to this, of course, but that will take some time. And so we're expecting, a lot of industries that are argon dependent to experience higher input costs, potentially curtailment and availability affecting production schedules due to regional argon availability constraints. And as anyone who purchases argon already knows, the market is already expensive and highly constrained, and this could very well make a bad situation worse. It's one of those classic examples of a very well-intentioned federal policy that is actually doing the right thing. It can have unintended consequences that are not, from our perspective, being fully recognized or addressed at the federal government level.